Munster High School important to you?
Wow. First of all, it was my life.
Mm-hmm.
It was my joy.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Jean A. Fort. Pretty bad. Rich started this, and I started that whole program. I just gave you, Luke, his written history, and I found that. I thought, there is the history of the beginning of this whole thing. But Rich liked as many kids singing in choirs. Matter of fact, the junior group of people, they called that the guerrilla choir, because anyone that wanted to sing, come on in. He taught the masses. And then his senior choir was the concert choir. And then we started developing ensemble groups. I had about 4 or 5 ensemble groups, girls sextet, boys, 9th grade boys. Well, we won first at state, so that's not too shabby. Those 9th grade boys, they're squirrely at that time. And oh my gosh, there's one kid in there. I won't mention his name, but what a choir! At that time we had, and he just was the funniest guy. And Rich said, "No, you don't want to laugh at his, because if you do, you've lost it." And I couldn't contain it. But those crazy guys, we took a first. I was so proud of them, standing on the corner, watching all the girls go by, and boy, did they do that. In those days we called that Nips Vova. How times change. So and we were in that process of developing these things, and we made a name kind of in the community, because we went to a lot of fraternal organizations. I don't know how many little things I found in my bag of stuff that I collected from little awards. Here's a little thing from the Kiwanis for your wonderful groups singing to us, and we sang all over the Christmas time. We started right at the beginning, almost beginning of December, and worked almost up till Christmas Eve with all these wonderful things. That what a gosh, I never thought of it as, I guess maybe I thought of it as work. I used to, my kids now, Jill's one of my kids, and say, "Oh, Dad, I said, "Wait, I'm just doing my job." But I loved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what are some specific, if you remember any specific things that the choir has done when you were there, what you've experienced, or any events that you've done that were memorable?
I think the most memorable thing would be taking these kids to Indianapolis for all the big contests, and watching them perform and coming out with first. We just blew the minds of all these people, because Munster High School was taking all the first awards. Beautiful. I think that was probably and going on the buses. And Rich said, we're not taking school buses. He hired Greyhound buses. We're going to go on lecture. And I think we had fun going down. Oh gosh, getting up, I think, at 5 o'clock. No, we left at 5 o'clock. We had to get up at 4, all those kids. And we had a great time. We had a great ride, fun, taking with the kids. We had 2 buses and with chaperones. Yeah. I guess that's one of my, I think also Christmas was a very special time. I had a girls' 7th, 8th, and 9th choir of 100 girls. And so the Christmas programs that I conducted, I loved it. It was so exciting, and I did a lot of stage decoration for those early years. Yeah, this guy had one enormous, wonderful ride, and I loved it.
And what are some things that you've seen that haven't changed from when you've been here, or just have grown since you've been here?
How do you mean that?
What are some things with the choir department, with the history that still has kind of stayed the same?
I think the fact that after Richard Holmberg retired, there were, the first, some very good teachers. The first year was sort of a bummer for the guy that stepped in, trying to step in the shoes, and it didn't work. But as time went on, they did have some very, very good teachers. But seeing what your choir teacher has done, and I remember going to your first concert at St. Thomas More Christmas program, sitting there, I was with Jill. I said, "Move over, Richard. There's a new guy in here." And so I really think this young man has taken this and embellished it and has broadened it to the heights that nobody would believe. Taking students to Salzburg, and I guess on the agenda, many new places in Europe and the world and whatever. Congratulations, Luke.
Thank you.
I think you are absolutely the epitome of what should be in this fine high school, and God bless you for what you do.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is this the choir?
I don't think Gino's in that picture.
Yeah, that's you in the front.
Oh, is it? Oh, there.
There you
Your hair already was receding.
Oh, stop that, Chelsea. I just love this girl. Do you know this girl? I've known, I taught in the junior high. Poor thing. She probably thought, oh my God, that's fine, I'll get it away from. Then in junior high, then in high school. And
I wasn't in his AP class. Barely made it through his history class. I was not a good historian. No. And I wasn't a good flute player. I told Luke that on the phone.
why are you down from? Stop that.
Because
She was a beautiful singer, and
well, I knew my limitations.
just let me do the bragging. You just do it.
Well, before we kind of talk about the musicals here, I guess the one real question that I wanted to ask, and I appreciate the compliments on a lot of those things too. But what would you say to people like Dorothy and maybe someone that's in 7th grade right now, and all these people that are coming up in the next generation of choirs here at Munster High School? What advice or what message do you think that they need to hear and to feel confident and going into the great next step that is high school?
It's a good question. I remember how eager and how the students that were going to be picked looked forward to getting into the let's say the ensembles, particularly groups. That's very selective, and we picked at least we thought we did, and I know we did, pick the very best for these groups. Hence, they're going to win all these blue ribbons. Your music is going to be something that will remain with you for your entire life, and you can enhance all that you know in different ways. And if you're really good, you can join the try out for a symphony choir like the Northwest Symphony, which some of my students did. So I think it's an opportunity for outlets to find other venues for the thing they love to do. How many students? I think we had at least 5 that wanted to go to Northwestern University's and School of Music, and Rich wrote them and took them and played their, for their entrance, and they did. I think 3 of them became music teachers. So I think everybody in the world ought to take music courses and learn about music and learn from all the genres, from opera to whatever, to jazz to and what a wonderful legacy and thing that you have with all this, because music is the heartbeat of it. It soothes. It means so much. So I think that I don't think I answered your question.
I think you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other, we're at a crossroads isn't probably the right word, but the first 60 years of Munster choirs and this Munster music program is about to pass, and this wonderful room that has so much history in it, we're setting up for a new 60 years.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes. So what do you have 60 years from now? And maybe the roles have reversed, and I'm saying
they're going to ask you, Luke, and they're gonna, and you'll know. Oh yes, what an excitement! But that's so.
Of course. But what do you see for the next 60 years of the music department?
Oh, I see, with your guidance and your direction and your the success that you've already with these just a few years you've been here, you've set it on fire, and it's just the beginning. I think there's more to come. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be great. I think you will be noted as one of the finest directors in high school music in the state of Indiana. It's what I believe.
Thank you.
You're too modest.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
I mean it from my
Thank you.
heart, my bottom of my heart. I do.
Thank you.
I recognize good talent.
Thank you. Well, so
Excellent talent, I should say.
Thank you. Munster High School has had a number of really just special productions over the years.
We didn't have an auditorium. We went over to the grade school, I think at Eads. They had a stage, and the towns, many of the town fathers built a stage, and we did Oklahoma. She was Lori. Beautiful. And the townspeople, the ladies, all gathered together with a group. They had a little society of sewers. They made all the costumes. I painted all the sets. And it was just a marvelous thing that we started with this first musical. And then when this musical, I went ape. I ordered the carousel from the Chicago um, Artist Association, and the scenes and the flats and all to be designed and brought to our school. And I ordered all the costumes from New York Costume Company. This little venture was about a $6,000 thing, and nobody. Even my friend said, "Oh, you mean $600?" No school paid. We did. I did. Rich and I did, and we were supported by the school board and the community. This was we had a full orchestra. We didn't have an orchestra pit. He took out some of the seats, and had a big thing around there, and that's how we started that. And I have the kid with the spotlight, and Rich would come out in his conducting outfit, and we started the musical. I was sitting in the audience with earphones and sort of supervising what was going on, and I'd love to tell the story, but we don't have time, about the guys that went out during one of the scenes to get donuts and were late. We were doing Fiddler on the Roof, and there wasn't an entrance, and so Scott Sublett he said, "Oh, I think they must have gotten da-da-da-da." I went backstage, and in came this young lad, and I said, you may take your, go to the dressing room, take your, off your costume, put your clothes on, you're out." And Rich said, when we had the intermission, Rich said, "You didn't do that." I said, "Yeah, I did." It turned out that poor kid, we didn't talk about it. That's just what all was said. And there were 8 other guys, and one of the guys who was a teacher, an elementary teacher in Valparaiso, wrote 2 books, and there's about 10 pages about how this thing transpired. And he said, I don't think any other kid ever thought about, that they're going to go out for donuts during the break. They didn't get back. Oh, now I can laugh. But I wasn't, you know what? I just said, take off your name. And so I mixed that Saturday. It was a Friday performance. I picked out one of the kids and I said, "You be at my house at 8:00 in the morning, and we'll work till noon." And I had a can of, like you put on the fields for spray. Mm-hmm. And we went through all that, and then he came back, and we worked until the evening. And then that's what the show went on.
So I guess the lesson here is to not leave rehearsal or a show to get donuts.
You don't do that. Ever.
Nope.
Ever.
Well, thank you very much. Dorothy, did you have anything else you wanted to ask Jean?
I don't think so.
Dorothy, you're just wonderful. I enjoyed having you interview me. Mm-hmm. You're a very astute young lady, and you're going to do very well. I know. I know these things.
Thank you.
And thank you, my dear.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you, truly.
Luke, I am so honored to be near you and be talking with you. I know that I hope I live long enough to see some more of these wonderful things Absolutely. That you're going to be doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Joe. was a terrible thing.